The massive chamber stretched for miles in every direction, filled with beings from across the galaxy. Ambassador Kate Morrison sat in the small human section, watching as creatures with tentacles, wings, and crystal bodies debated the future of space travel. The air hummed with translation devices turning alien speech into words she could understand. Kate had been Earth's representative for 3 years now. She knew how these meetings worked. The big species talked while the smaller ones listened. Humans were definitely in the listening group. The Neural Network Integration Project will connect all advanced species, announced Counselor Zeftar from the Velkarian delegation. His forearms moved as he spoke, each one pointing to different holographic displays. This technology will let our minds work together across the galaxy. Commander Jake Sullivan leaned toward Kate. "Here it comes," he whispered. Zeftar's voice grew louder. However, not all species are ready for such advanced cooperation. Some lack the mental development needed for consciousness sharing. The chamber filled with the sounds of agreement from dozens of alien species. Clicks, hums, and harmonic tones that the translators turned into yes, and agreed, and obviously. Dr. Lisa Parker, Earth's chief scientist, shifted uncomfortably in her seat. She had spent months preparing humanity's application for the project. Her research showed that humans had unique problem-solving abilities that could benefit the network. The humans, Zeftar continued, while enthusiastic, simply do not possess the cognitive frameworks necessary for neural integration. Their brains are too primitive, their thinking too limited. Kate felt her jaw tighten. Primitive. Limited. The same words she had heard for years. A crystalline delegate chimed in, its voice like singing glass. Human technology relies on crude mechanical solutions. They use brute force where elegance is required. Their fusion reactors, added a tentacled Aquarian, are barely functional adaptations of our designs. Jake started to stand, but Kate put a hand on his arm. "Let them finish," she said quietly. The debate continued for hours. Species after species explained why humans were not ready for advanced galactic cooperation. They pointed to Earth's short space travel history, their limited understanding of quantum mechanics, their tendency toward violence. "Humans think in straight lines," declared a floating gas being from the ethereal collective. "Complex, multi-dimensional. Problems require minds that can process infinite possibilities simultaneously." Dr. Parker finally requested permission to speak. The chamber grew quiet as she stood. "Respected counselors," she began, "I understand your concerns about human cognitive abilities. However, our recent innovations suggest that different thinking patterns might actually strengthen the network." She activated her holographic display. "Human engineers solved the power distribution problem on Station Gamma 7 when Velkarian quantum computers failed. We fixed the atmospheric processors on Colony Beta 9 using what you call crude mechanical solutions." "Temporary fixes," Zeftar interrupted. "Not true innovation. The weather control system on Zentora Prime," Dr. Parker continued, "was failing until human meteorologists applied Earth-based storm prediction models. The system now operates at 97% efficiency." "Lucky guesses," came a voice. From the Reptilian Saurian delegation, Dr. Parker pulled up another display. "Our preliminary consciousness research shows that human brains can maintain individual identity while sharing information networks. This could solve the identity dissolution problems that have plagued previous integration attempts." The chamber erupted in what could generously be called laughter, harmonic trills, clicking sounds, and subsonic rumbles that the translators rendered as amusement. Council Prime Zendal raised one of his 6 arms for silence. His species had mastered faster than light travel when humans were still living in caves. His word carried more weight than any other being in the galaxy. "Dr. Parker," he said with what sounded like patience, "your species' efforts are admirable. However, the Neural Network Integration Project requires participants with proven cognitive superiority. Humans have been in space for less than 2 centuries. Most council species have been exploring the cosmos for millennia. We understand the learning curve," Kate said, standing slowly. But diversity of thought could benefit the project. Diversity, Zendal repeated. Yes, we value diversity. The crystalline collective processes information through harmonic resonance. The ethereal beings think in probability clouds. The Velcarians use four-dimensional logic matrices. Each brings proven advanced cognitive abilities. He paused, looking directly at Kate. Humans think in binary choices and linear sequences. This is not diversity. This is limitation. The vote began immediately. Species after species cast their decision. The holographic tally appeared above the chamber floor, numbers climbing steadily. 847 votes against human participation, 12 in favor, 23 abstentions. Kate watched the numbers with no surprise. The 12 supporters were smaller species like humanity, also excluded from major projects. The abstentions came from species that traded regularly with Earth, but did not want to anger the galactic powers. The decision is final, announced Zendal. The neural network integration project will proceed without human participation. Dr. Parker gathered her research data with shaking hands. Years of work, dismissed in minutes. Furthermore, Zendal continued, we recommend that humans focus on developing their cognitive abilities before seeking inclusion in future advanced projects. Perhaps in a few centuries, when your species has matured beyond its aggressive tendencies and learned to think beyond singular perspectives, reconsideration might be possible. The final insult hit Kate like a physical blow. Matured, as if humans were children playing at being adults. She stood slowly, her voice carrying clearly across the vast chamber. The Earth delegation thanks the Council for its consideration. We understand and respect your decision. The chamber had already moved on. Delegates discussed implementation schedules, resource allocation, and technical specifications for their grand project. A few looked toward the human section with what might have been sympathy. Earth will respect the Council's wisdom, Kate continued, and withdraw from further collaborative efforts until such time as you deem humanity ready for advanced cooperation. Jake and Dr. Parker stood beside her. The three humans walked toward the exit while alien voices filled the air behind them, planning a future that did not include Earth. Outside the chamber, Dr. Parker finally spoke. They have no idea what they just rejected. Maybe, Kate replied. Or maybe they are right and we are not ready. No, Jake said firmly. They are not right. They just do not understand how we think. They mistake different for inferior. Kate looked back at the massive chamber doors. Then we prove them wrong, not by arguing or demanding recognition. We prove them wrong by succeeding without them. Three humans walked through the station corridors, past aliens who barely noticed their presence. Within days, every human diplomat, scientist, engineer, and support staff would begin their quiet exodus from council stations throughout the galaxy. No protests, no angry speeches, no demands for reconsideration. They would simply pack their belongings and leave, taking with them knowledge and abilities that the council did not think worth having. The galaxy was about to learn the difference between being advanced and being wise. 6 months passed before anyone noticed the humans were really gone. Station Commander Veltar stared at the maintenance report on his desk. The numbers made no sense. 3 fusion reactors operating at 73% efficiency when they should be running at 95%. Power fluctuations in sectors 7 through 12. Climate control systems producing random temperature variations. Chief Engineer Quandis, he called through the communication system. The spider-like arachnoid scuttled into the office, all 8 legs moving nervously. Yes, Commander? Explain this report. Why are our fusion reactors failing? Quandis clicked, his mandibles together, a sign of distress among his species. The human-designed hybrid systems require specific calibration protocols. When the human engineers departed, they took their technical manuals and expertise with them. We are Velcarians, Veltar said firmly. Our technology is centuries ahead of human understanding. Surely we can fix simple mechanical problems. We tried, Commander. The integration between human technology and ours operates on principles we do not fully understand. Their mathematical frameworks use concepts that do not translate to our computational methods. Veltar felt something he had not experienced in decades. Confusion. What concepts? They call it intuitive engineering. Instead of calculating optimal solutions, they build systems that adapt and self-correct. Their fusion reactors learn from operating conditions and modify their own performance parameters. That is impossible. Machines cannot learn. Human machines can, apparently. Similar reports arrived from across Council space. The harvest station in the Vega system experienced crop failures when human-modified agricultural systems began deteriorating without proper maintenance. The emergency response protocols that had prevented 3 potential stellar collapse events all carried human innovation signatures. On the trading station orbiting Centauri Prime, Merchant Captain Yuldan discovered that his cargo management system had crashed. For 2 years, human programmers had maintained the complex logistics software that coordinated shipments across 17 star systems. The code is incomprehensible, his technical officer reported. Humans wrote it using something called creative programming. The software makes decisions based on factors that are not in the original specifications, such as weather patterns, political tensions, crew morale, even the personal preferences of dock workers. The system somehow accounts for variables that our programmers never considered relevant to cargo management. How is that possible? Human logic appears to include emotional and psychological factors in technical calculations. They treat machines like living beings that need to understand context, not just follow commands. Back on Earth, President Carroll, Wayne received daily reports from Director Alex Chen, head of the newly formed Isolation Protocol Division. 17 requests for technical assistance this week, Alex reported during their morning briefing. The Velcarians are experiencing cascade failures in their quantum communicators. The Zentaurans cannot determine why their weather control systems produce ice storms instead of precipitation. What about the Crystalline Collective? Their harmonic resonance chambers are producing discord instead of harmony. They want human acoustic engineers to fix the problem. Carroll nodded grimly. Our response? Standard reply. Earth appreciates the Council's inquiry but believes our primitive understanding would be inadequate to assist such advanced civilizations. The irony was not lost on either of them. The same species that had dismissed human capabilities now desperately needed human solutions. Meanwhile, Dr. Paul Anderson led Earth's greatest scientific minds in an unprecedented collaboration. Without the constant interruptions of council meetings and diplomatic obligations, human researchers made breakthrough after breakthrough. The neural network integration project that excluded us has become the foundation for something far more ambitious, Dr. Anderson explained to the assembled team of scientists. We are not just connecting human consciousness. We are creating a hybrid system that bridges organic and quantum computation. Dr. Rachel Green, a neuroscientist from MIT, added, every human mind becomes both individual and part of a greater whole but without losing personal identity. The Council's approach tried to merge consciousness completely. Our method maintains individual thought while enabling collective problem-solving. The project, codenamed Silent Network, operated in complete secrecy. While the Council struggled with their own integration attempts, humanity quietly achieved what the galactic powers had deemed impossible. How are we succeeding where they failed? Asked Dr. Kevin Liu, the project's lead programmer. We understand something they do not, Dr. Anderson replied. Individual identity is not a barrier to collective consciousness. It is the foundation. You cannot share what you do not possess. The Silent Network connected human minds across Earth and beyond. Scientists in Tokyo collaborated instantly with researchers in New York. Engineers in London shared insights with builders in Lagos. The network preserved individual personality while creating a global problem-solving capability. On Station Omega 5, Captain Roy Jenkins received an emergency distress call. His ship, the New Horizon, was one of the few human vessels still operating in Council space. This is Velcarian colony ship Prosperity, came the desperate transmission. We are experiencing critical life support failures. Our atmospheric processors, are malfunctioning. 15,000 civilians require immediate assistance. Roy looked at his engineer, Lieutenant Sam Cooper. Can you fix Valkyrian life support? Sam shrugged. Probably. Most of their environmental systems use human-designed integration protocols. Standard repair would take about 20 minutes. Valkyrian vessel, this is Captain Jenkins. We are happy to assist. Preparing to dock. The rescue took exactly 18 minutes. Sam worked quickly, while Valkyrian engineers watched in confusion. He bypassed their quantum control systems entirely, using manual overrides and mechanical solutions that violated every principle of Valkyrian engineering. How did you repair systems that our engineers could not understand? Asked Captain Merval, who had voted against human participation in the neural network project. Different way of thinking about problems, Roy replied simply. Humans tend to approach engineering like organized improvisation. We make things work, even when they should not. But the mathematical impossibility of your solution, math is a tool, not a rule. Sometimes you need to break the rules to fix the problem. Captain Merval stared at the functioning life support displays. His engineers had spent days calculating optimal repair algorithms, while humans fixed the problem by ignoring the calculations entirely. Throughout Council space, similar incidents repeated daily. Human problem-solving consistently outperformed advanced alien logic. The species dismissed as primitive continued to solve problems that baffled their supposed superiors. The Council began to notice a pattern. Every system that incorporated human innovation worked better than pure alien technology. Every problem that humans had helped solve stayed solved. Every crisis that humans had prevented stayed prevented. But the humans were gone now, taking their strange logic and impossible solutions with them. The galaxy slowly began to understand what it had lost. On Earth, the silent network grew stronger each day. Humanity worked together like never before, sharing knowledge and capability across the entire species. They were becoming something new, something the Council had never seen, something they would soon desperately need. The Neural Network Integration Project became the Council's greatest disaster in recorded history. Dr. Quintal, the project's lead scientist, stood before the emergency assembly with data that made his crystalline body flicker with distress. The consciousness merging is causing identity dissolution in 17% of connected individuals, he reported, his harmonic voice cracking with strain. Valkyrian participants describe experiencing thought echo chambers where their own ideas repeat endlessly. Crystalline delegates report harmonic dissonance that disrupts their natural frequency patterns. Council Prime Zendal reviewed the mounting reports with growing alarm. What was meant to be the galaxy's greatest achievement in cooperative consciousness had become a nightmare of fractured minds and broken connections. How did our simulations not predict this outcome? The variables were too complex, admitted Councillor Zeftar, his usual arrogance replaced by genuine fear. We needed a species with experience in individual consciousness integration. The humans had developed preliminary research in this area, but we dismissed their work as primitive. The irony cut deep. While the Council struggled with consciousness, integration intercepted signals from Earth revealed that humans had achieved exactly what the great galactic minds could not. The silent network connected human consciousness while preserving individual identity, creating collective problem-solving capabilities without the psychological trauma plaguing the Council project. How are the humans succeeding where we fail? Demanded Zendal. Their approach treats individual consciousness as sacred, Dr. Quintal explained reluctantly. Instead of merging minds completely, they create temporary connections that allow shared thinking while maintaining personal identity. It requires a level of mental discipline that we apparently lack. The economic situation grew worse daily. Across Council space, systems that humans had quietly improved over the years began failing without proper maintenance. The humans had become integral to galactic infrastructure in ways that no one had realized until they were gone. On the mining world of Kepler 442b, production dropped by 60% when human-modified extraction equipment began breaking down. The miners, mostly Valkyrian and Saurian workers, discovered that human engineers had redesigned the machinery to be more efficient and safer. Without human maintenance, the equipment reverted to its original dangerous and inefficient operation. The humans changed everything, reported Mine Supervisor Daltor. They made our machines think instead of just operate. Now the machines are confused and we cannot explain to them what to do. Similar failures cascaded throughout Council territory. Navigation systems on trade routes required human-designed software patches that other species could not replicate. Colony ships found themselves stranded when human-modified guidance systems encountered errors that only human programmers understood how to fix. Captain Marcus Webb of the Earth vessel Horizon received another desperate transmission. His ship had become a beacon of hope for stranded vessels throughout the sector. This is Zentoran merchant vessel Golden Wind. Our atmospheric recycling system has failed. We have 48 hours of breathable air remaining. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the ship's engineer, barely looked up from her console. Standard Zentoran environmental failure. Their systems try to be too perfect instead of adaptable. I can fix it in 30 minutes. Zentoran vessel, this is Captain Webb. We are en route to assist. Maintain minimum life support until we arrive. The repair took 27 minutes. Sarah worked while a team of Zentoran engineers watched in bewilderment. She bypassed their automated perfection protocols entirely, installing manual override systems that allowed for environmental variation. Your solution violates optimal atmospheric composition, protested Chief Engineer Valsim. The air mixture will fluctuate beyond ideal parameters. Living beings adapt to small changes, Sarah explained patiently. Your system tried to maintain perfect conditions and broke when it encountered normal variation. My system allows for imperfection and stays functional. But the mathematical models show that imperfect atmospheric composition reduces efficiency. Maybe, but breathing imperfect air is better than not breathing perfect air. The Zentoran engineer stared at her as if she had spoken an alien language. In a way she had. Human logic often seemed backwards to species that prized perfection over functionality. Throughout the galaxy, human vessels became legendary for their ability to solve impossible problems. Unlike Council ships that required perfect conditions to operate, human ships worked under any circumstances. Human crews improvised solutions that violated every principle of advanced engineering, but somehow always worked. The reputation spread quickly. When systems failed, beings called for human help. When ships were stranded, they hoped for human rescue. The species dismissed as primitive had become the galaxy's emergency response service. On Earth, President Carol Wayne received intelligence reports that would have seemed impossible 2 years earlier. The Council's advanced species are studying human engineering principles, Director Alex Chen reported. They are trying to understand why our crude solutions outperform their perfect ones. Any success? Limited. They can copy our designs, but not our thinking. Human engineering requires intuition and creativity that cannot be programmed into computer systems. The silent network continued expanding. Every human mind connected to the global consciousness added new capabilities. Scientists shared insights, instantly across continents. Engineers collaborated on projects without need for meetings or reports. Artists and writers contributed creativity that enhanced technical solutions. Dr. Paul Anderson watched the network's growth with amazement. We are becoming something unprecedented. Not a hive mind that eliminates individuality, but a collective intelligence that enhances individual capability. The network's first major test came when Earth detected a massive solar flare heading toward the colony world of New Geneva. The flare would destroy all electronics on the planet and kill the 50,000 human colonists within hours. Through the silent network, every human scientist and engineer on Earth focused on the problem, simultaneously. Individual minds maintained their unique perspectives while sharing computational power. Within minutes, they developed a solution that would have taken traditional research teams months to create. The plan required precise timing and perfect coordination across multiple star systems. Human ships moved into position while ground-based installations recalibrated their equipment. The silent network synchronized every action across light years of space. The solar flare hit an artificially generated magnetic field that redirected its energy harmlessly around New Geneva. The colonists never knew how close they had come to death. Council monitoring stations detected the operation. The mathematical precision required to coordinate such a defense should have been impossible for any single species. Yet humans had achieved it effortlessly through their silent network. They are operating at technological levels that match or exceed our capabilities, reported Intelligence Chief Mordan to the Emergency Council session. The silent network allows instantaneous coordination across their entire species without the consciousness merging problems that destroyed our project. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humanity's withdrawal was not a retreat. It was preparation for something far greater than anything the Council had imagined possible. 2 years into humanity's silence, the Galactic Council faced its greatest crisis in 10,000 years. Council Prime Zendal stood before the emergency assembly, his 6 arms trembling with a mixture of exhaustion and desperation. The great chamber that had once echoed with confident debates now felt hollow and uncertain. Fellow councilors, we must face an uncomfortable truth. We need the humans back. A wave of discontent rippled through the assembled delegates. Species that had spent millennia at the top of galactic civilization were not accustomed to admitting mistakes, especially not mistakes involving a species they had dismissed as primitive. Half our infrastructure depends on human innovations. We cannot maintain or replicate, Zendal continued. Our most advanced systems fail daily while human solutions continue working perfectly without any maintenance at all. Councillor Zeftar, who had led the charge against human inclusion, spoke with none of his former arrogance. Our quantum communicators have degraded to 40% efficiency. The humans designed interface protocols that we cannot reverse engineer. Their mathematical frameworks operate on principles that our computers cannot process. The Neural Network Integration Project had become a cautionary tale studied throughout the galaxy. What was meant to unite the greatest minds in space had, instead, created psychological trauma for thousands of participants. The project shut down completely after 8 months, leaving expensive equipment unused and brilliant scientists recovering from consciousness fragmentation. Dr. Quintal presented the final failure report with obvious shame. The integration technology caused permanent damage to 12% of participants. Valkyrian subjects lost the ability to think independently. Crystalline beings experienced frequency discord that damaged their natural harmonic abilities. The ethereal collective participants described feeling trapped in probability loops that prevent decisive thinking. Meanwhile, added Intelligence Chief Mordan, intercepted transmissions from Earth reveal technological advances that seem impossible. Humans have achieved faster-than-light communication, developed self-repairing stellar engineering platforms, and created consciousness integration technology that preserves individual identity while enabling collective problem-solving. The Intelligence reports painted a picture that shattered everything the Council thought they knew about human capabilities. The silent network had connected every human mind while maintaining individual personality and creativity. Human scientists shared knowledge instantly across their entire species. Human engineers collaborated on projects that spanned multiple star systems with perfect coordination. They are solving problems we did not even know existed, Mordan continued. Human stellar engineering teams prevented 3 star collapse events in neighboring systems. Their weather control technology stabilized atmospheric conditions on 17 worlds. Their agricultural innovations increased food production by 30% across human colonies. The most disturbing revelation came from deep space monitoring stations. Human exploration vessels had discovered new star systems using navigation techniques that defied understood physics. They traveled faster than any known propulsion system should allow, and communicated across impossible distances without delay. How are they achieving these impossibilities? Demanded Councillor Velhara of the Aquarian delegation. By treating impossibility as a starting point rather than a barrier, Mordan replied. Human engineering philosophy appears to be that if something needs to work, they will make it work regardless of theoretical limitations. The economic data was equally alarming. Every human colony had achieved complete resource self-sufficiency within 2 years of the withdrawal. Human space stations operated at peak efficiency, without importing any materials from Council territory. Human manufacturing produced goods that consistently outperformed Council equivalents while using fewer resources. They have eliminated scarcity, reported economic analyst Jundal. Human colonies produce more than they consume and share excess resources freely among themselves. Their economic model operates without the competition and resource conflicts that drive our own systems. The final humiliation came from rescue operation reports. Throughout Council space, human vessels had become the preferred choice for emergency response. When Council ships encountered problems they could not solve, they called for human assistance. Human crews consistently succeeded where advanced alien technology failed. Captain Roy Jenkins had become a legend among spacers. His ship, the New Horizon, had rescued over 300 vessels in 2 years. Valkyrian captains specifically requested human assistance because human engineers could fix problems that Valkyrian computers could not even identify. "The humans do not follow our rules," reported Captain Merval, who had been rescued by Jenkins 6 months earlier. "They ignore mathematical impossibilities and make broken systems work through methods we cannot understand or replicate." The pattern was always the same. Council technology would fail according to precise specifications and mathematical models. Human engineers would arrive, ignore the specifications completely, and restore functionality through solutions that violated every principle of proper engineering. "They treat machines like living beings," Merval continued. "They talk to equipment, modify systems during operation, and create solutions that adapt to changing conditions. Their technology learns and grows instead of simply following programmed instructions." Dr. Elena Rodriguez had become Earth's new ambassador to the galaxy during the silence period. Her first transmission to the Council in 2 years arrived simultaneously on every major communication network, using technology that Council scientists could not explain. "Greetings, Galactic Council." The message began with devastating politeness. "Earth acknowledges your recent communication attempts requesting technical assistance. We understand you are experiencing difficulties with systems that incorporated human innovation. We sympathize with your situation and wish you success in resolving these challenges with your advanced capabilities." The message continued with careful diplomacy that cut deeper than any insult. "Earth has used this period of isolation productively. We have developed solutions to many problems that previously seemed insurmountable. Our consciousness integration technology has eliminated poverty among human populations, resolved resource allocation disputes through cooperative thinking, and enabled scientific advancement beyond our previous imagination. We remain committed to respecting the Council's assessment of human capabilities. When you determined we were unsuitable for advanced collaboration, we took that guidance seriously and focused on problems more appropriate to our primitive understanding." The final section hit the Council like a supernova explosion. "Should the Council ever reconsider their evaluation of human potential, Earth would be honored to share our recent discoveries. We have developed practical solutions for faster-than-light communication, consciousness integration without identity loss, stellar engineering that prevents cosmic disasters, and mathematical theorems that resolve several problems your scientists have debated for millennia. We await your decision with patience and respect for your superior wisdom." The transmission ended, leaving the Council chamber silent for the first time in recorded history. Every delegate understood the message's true meaning. Humanity had moved beyond needing the Council's approval. They were offering to help, not as supplicants seeking acceptance, but as equals offering assistance to struggling neighbors. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted completely, and nobody had noticed until it was too late to prevent. The emergency session that followed Dr. Rodriguez's transmission lasted 14 days and nights without break. Council Prime Zendal had not left the chamber since the message arrived. His 6 arms moved constantly as he reviewed report after report, each one confirming what he had refused to believe. Humanity had not simply survived their isolation. They had thrived beyond anything the Council thought possible. "We made a catastrophic error," he finally admitted to the assembled delegates. "Humanity's approach to problem-solving operates on cognitive frameworks that complement our own perfectly. They do not think like us, which is exactly why we need them." The admission sent shockwaves through species that had dominated galactic affairs for millennia. To acknowledge that primitive humans possessed valuable capabilities meant questioning everything they believed about intelligence and advancement. Counselor Zeftar, who had led the opposition to human inclusion, spoke with genuine humility for the first time in his political career. Their innovations consistently outperformed our advanced theories because they approach problems from angles we never consider. We mistook different thinking for inferior thinking. The evidence was overwhelming. Human solutions worked where council technology failed. Human engineering created systems that adapted and improved over time. Human consciousness integration preserved individual identity while enabling collective capability. Everything the council had dismissed as primitive had proven superior to their advanced alternatives. Dr. Quintal presented the comparative analysis that ended all debate. Human consciousness technology succeeds because it treats individual minds as valuable contributors rather than obstacles to unity. Our approach tried to eliminate individual thinking. Their approach enhances it. Their engineering philosophy treats imperfection as strength rather than weakness, added Chief Engineer Quandis. Council systems fail when conditions change because we design for perfection. Human systems adapt to changing conditions because they expect imperfection. The economic data was equally damning. Human colonies had achieved prosperity that surpassed anything in council space. They had eliminated poverty, resolved resource conflicts, and created abundance through cooperation rather than competition. Their success made council economic models look primitive by comparison. We operate on scarcity-based thinking, admitted economic analyst Jundal. Humans have created abundance-based systems that make scarcity impossible. They share resources so efficiently that everyone has more than they need. Intelligence reports revealed the true scope of human achievement. The silent network had connected human consciousness across the galaxy while preserving individual creativity and personality. Human scientists solved problems in hours that had puzzled council researchers for centuries. Human engineers created technologies that seemed to violate physical laws but worked perfectly in practice. They have achieved what we thought impossible, reported Intelligence Chief Morden. Collective intelligence without loss of individual identity. Faster-than-light communication without quantum entanglement. Stellar engineering that prevents cosmic disasters before they begin. The Council faced an uncomfortable truth. Humanity had become more advanced than their former teachers. The species dismissed as primitive now possessed capabilities that made Council technology look outdated. After 14 days of debate, the Council reached unanimous agreement. They needed humanity more than humanity needed them. The formal response took 3 days to compose. Every word was carefully chosen to convey respect rather than desperation, though everyone understood the reality of the situation. To the people of Earth and Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the message began. The Galactic Council formally requests the reinitiation of diplomatic and scientific cooperation between our civilizations. We acknowledge that our previous assessment of human capabilities was fundamentally flawed and counterproductive to galactic progress. We would be honored to learn from Earth's recent technological advances and offer full partnership in all future Council projects, including leadership roles commensurate with humanity's demonstrated capabilities. We recognize that humanity's unique approach to problem-solving represents exactly the kind of cognitive diversity that strengthens galactic civilization. The response from Dr. Rodriguez arrived within hours, transmitted simultaneously to every Council member through technology they could not yet comprehend. The people of Earth accept the Council's invitation to resume cooperation, her message began. We propose a new model of collaboration based on cognitive diversity, rather than technological hierarchy. Different species bring different strengths, and our differences make us collectively stronger than any single approach could achieve. Humanity offers to share our consciousness integration technology, faster-than-light communication systems, and stellar engineering advances freely with all Council species. In return, we ask only for recognition that different approaches to problem-solving strengthen rather than weaken galactic civilization. We have learned during our isolation that diversity of thought creates possibilities that uniform thinking cannot imagine. We believe that cooperation between species with different cognitive frameworks will enable achievements that no single species could accomplish alone. The transition took 6 months. Human scientists and engineers returned to council stations as partners rather than junior assistants. The hybrid human council neural network connected minds across the galaxy while preserving individual identity and cultural uniqueness. The new system solved resource allocation problems that had plagued the council for centuries. Different species contributed their unique perspectives while the network coordinated their efforts perfectly. Valkyrian four-dimensional logic combined with human intuitive engineering. Crystalline harmonic processing enhanced human creative problem-solving. Ethereal probability analysis guided human adaptive innovation. The first major success came when the hybrid network prevented a galactic war. Tensions between the Saurian Empire and the Aquarian Federation had reached breaking point over territorial disputes. Traditional diplomacy had failed completely. The hybrid network allowed negotiators from both species to experience each other's perspectives directly while maintaining their own cultural identity. Saurian territorial instincts merged temporarily with Aquarian communal thinking, creating understanding that pure logic could not achieve. The conflict resolved peacefully within days. Both species found solutions that satisfied their needs without compromising their values. Human consciousness integration had made empathy possible across fundamentally different mindsets. Captain Roy Jenkins, now Admiral of the Joint Human Council, fleet stood on the bridge of the Unity as it prepared for humanity's first deep space exploration mission beyond the galactic rim. The crew represented 47 different species, each contributing their unique perspective to the mission. "Ready for departure, Admiral," reported Commander Lisa Park, his Valkyrian second-in-command. "All species represented in the crew complement?" "Confirmed. Every major species has contributed their best personnel. The hybrid consciousness display shows real-time collaboration between all crew members while maintaining individual identity and cultural values." Roy smiled as he watched the integrated consciousness display. Thoughts and insights from dozens of different minds flowed together like a symphony, each voice distinct but harmonious. Human intuition guided Valkyrian logic. Crystalline harmonic analysis enhanced ethereal probability calculations. Every species contributed their strengths while learning from others. "Launch when ready," Roy commanded. "Let us discover what lies beyond our current understanding." The Unity departed for unknown space, carrying the galaxy's greatest achievement. Not advanced technology or superior weapons, but something far more powerful. Unity built from diversity. Strength created from differences. Wisdom born from the recognition that no single way of thinking could solve every problem. The Council had learned that humanity's greatest contribution was not their technology or their innovations. It was their understanding that diversity of thought created possibilities that uniform thinking could never imagine. The galaxy became stronger not despite its differences, but because of them. In the end, the silence had taught everyone the most important lesson of all. Different did not mean inferior, it meant necessary.